me start off by saying something that I did tell you. As somebody who has been reading every single word that you have written since I knew you existed, which was How I Survived Being a Girl, and Valerie Lewis hands me this book and says, oh my God, you gotta read this. And I read it. I cannot yet bring myself to read the final Sammy Keyes book. I don't want it to end. So how on earth did you come to the decision that it was time?
Originally, I was going to end the series with Sammy figuring out who her father was. But then as we got closer, I'm like, you know, when you figure out who the father is, you're going to have questions. And I wanted to leave the series in a place that was more settled than that. So, but anyway, I wrote Showdown in Sin City, which is where she figures out who her dad was. And the way it ended, I said to Nancy, I should just end it right here. Because I love the way it ended. And then I said, no, okay, I got to do the next one where Sammy spends some time with her dad. And then at the end of that one, I'm like, oh, I love the way this ends. Maybe I just end it right here. Because I was afraid of the last book. I really was.
One of the things that I have noticed when we look at your body of work, 30 some odd books now, you, without being a goody-goody, without being a moralist, because my God, as they were saying in that documentary, oh, there are messages, oh, there are morals, but you have never written the moral first and the character second in your entire life, and that's definitely worth a praise. But you have a powerful belief that every soul can be redeemed. You believe that so strongly, and it shows up in your writing, and it nowhere more strongly in the fact that you made me feel sorry for Heather Acosta. I don't know how you did that, or why you chose to do that. It's like, there I was going book after book, going after book, going, no, there was one person to hate in this world, and then she changed it. But here's the thing, where does this, and I know we're here only to talk about Sammy, but it's in all the other books too. Where is this sense of redemption, and how does it influence the working with her and the shaping of the manuscripts? And, oh, Nancy, I've got an idea. Where does that come from?
Oh, she actually doesn't share a whole lot. She likes to write it and send it fully formed.
You're kidding?
No.
So you open up the package and you have no idea.
Yeah. Well, especially on the Sammys.
Right.
We never want to know. I never want to know too much about it before I see it, because I want to be able to solve the mystery. You know, I don't want to know what's going to happen, because I need to know
At what point?
At what point do I figure it out?
Right.
And if I figure it out too soon, then we make it harder.
Because it is a mystery series, and it has to adhere to the rules of mystery fiction.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to give it away too soon. And I don't want it to be unfair. I want it to be a fair mystery. And you can only read a mystery one time before you know who done it. So with Nancy being a mystery lover and being an astute mystery reader, it was very important for me to have her not read it until it was done. And I thought that I had balanced the clues out in a good way so that when she read it, she could say, oh, I was clued in right here.
Do you have some sort of visual or textural way of keeping track of your plots and your characters? Do you have little cards or little beads you move around on your desk, or do you just do it all in that crazy little brain of yours?
Honey, I got a Bible.
The Sammy Bible?
I do. It is like a 3-inch binder, and it is cross-referenced, database, a spreadsheet, I guess. Everything's cross-referenced. It is like, which way does Hudson Graham's door swing? It's very important, because you don't want it swinging in when the next book it's swinging out. And because my readers are smart. They're going to say, hey, the door's swinging the wrong way. And I can't have that in my book.
So I'm still not done with this redemption thing, though. We sort of got off of it.
Yeah, and the other thing, Wendelin will I won't hear from her for a while, and then she'll be like, well, I'm kind of working on this secret project. You know? And then I'll get this secret extra book that will just arrive that I won't have even known she was working on. She's very secretive. She's a mysterious woman.
I lost my mind when I read Swear to Howdy.
Yeah.
I lost
was the
my...
secret book.
Has anybody read Swear to Howdy by Wendelin? Isn't it hard to imagine that that's by the woman who wrote the Sammy Keyes books? It's like, did you just tie up somebody in your basement and make them write it for you?
I get possessed.
Yes.
I do.
Even that book, with its very, very different kind of storytelling for you without giving anything away. Even that book has such a powerful, strong sense of redemption. That theme runs through everything. Are you Anne Frank? Is that what it is? In spite of everything, you believe people are really good at heart? Is that what it is?
I know. I think when you get to the core of why a person is the way they are, assuming that, I think when you get to the core of that, then you understand them, and then you have sympathy for them. You can understand why they are, negative people, or why they've done these bad things. And then it's like if you understand the core of it, then you can find a way to heal that. And once you've healed that, then it's kind of like you've healed the person.
Yeah, I'm very fond of saying empathy really cuts the edge off my hate.
Yeah. But I think that's, as I've gotten to know Wendelin, it's very Wendelin. This is exactly how she is as a person with everyone in her life. And I think that she just is a passionate curiosity to figure out what makes people tick. The good people and the, people you like less. But she wants to know what made them be that way. And also, how do I not end up being that way myself? Because, man, I don't want to be there in, 20 years. So,
Yeah.
I think she's one of the most thoughtful people about how to live, how to be in the world. What kind of person do I want to be? I mean, I just don't know anyone else who is so present in that feeling and really thinking about it and taking the time to act on it and very consciously deciding, I want to be a person who will do this. And it's inspiring.
Agreed.
It's inspiring.
Agreed. Right. When did you know you had an ongoing character-driven series on your hands as opposed to, let's just write another one?
Well, so I wrote the first 4 without a contract, and in the course of writing that, it evolves. So the first one takes place the first week of 7th grade. The second one takes place over Halloween. Third one, so it was like I was following Sammy through her world. And that's when I realized that she was growing up a month at a time. And what I liked about that was that the characters could evolve too. Like she could get to know why Officer Borsch is such a hot-headed, anti-kid person. And so that exploration was of interest to me. I liked getting to know the characters better. So Nancy places an offer on all 4 of the first Sammys, so the first 4 Sammys. So all of a sudden I went from having none of them to, there were 4, we want to say done, but I learned what rewriting means. So when she got her pen on it, pencil, but then I really learned about the process of being a good author, because I was following this girl, I was writing this story, I would rewrite it, but I wouldn't rewrite it. And when she would send me editorial letters, lengthy ones, to how to make it a better book. And she would do line editing, cut this. And I'm like, no, I like that. But then I'd read it without it. And you just have to step back, open your mind to the possibility that maybe it could be better. Give it that chance, which for a creative person is a difficult thing. You love the thing that you've created. But the editor is really there to help you. They're not there to criticize you. They're there to help you shape it into the best that it could be. And I really think that Nancy is really key in why these books are as solid as they are.
Not only are there tremendously strong primary and secondary characters in the Sammy Keyes books, but the place, the sense of place that informs that book. It was very smart to do a documentary showing some of the place derivatives and the origins, because it so informs you feel like you know that town.
That house that they showed in the documentary is, when we lived in it, it's a rental house, and it was small, and we fixed it up the best that we could. But it didn't look like that when we lived in it. But it really is a place that should be condemned, And so I wrote I think it was the first 6 or 7 Sammy Keyes books in that house. We had our bedroom doubled as our office, and so I would fold down the little secretary, I would fold down the little secretary desk and sit on the edge of the bed, and then type. And my husband, Mark, got up at like 5 in the morning to go to work, and then I would get up with him, and then I'd work a little bit on a Sammy Keyes book before the babies at the time would wake up, and then I had a full-time job teaching computer science and math at the high school level. So then you go about your day, you go about the manic day that teachers have, and then so I was in that house for those, and you look back at the time, I wanted out, but you look back on it and you realize that it really informed Sammy's world, and the things that happened in that neighborhood, which were not good, worked their way through the blinds into the stories. So, and if I had lived in a little gated community with a guard, I don't think that I would have had that influx of the seedy element of life that really plays a big role in Sammy's world.
Sammy is, to me, an interesting hybrid of traditional detective fiction. Sammy is truly both. She uses both intuition and her keen powers of observation, and she does it in ways that she's not always sure she's got a full grasp of. It just comes together for her. Did you need this girl to be both? Was that something you set out to do?
For me, I wanted her to feel like she was a friend. And it's no fun to be around a friend who has totally figured everything out and has put this and this and this together. So she has that gut instinct about things, but she also thinks about things. And I think that that's where she puts the clues together, is the time she spends trying to puzzle it out in her mind. So she collects these things, but they don't kind of come to her in a flash, oh, I'm so smart. Because I don't enjoy that kind of character.
Right, and you're absolutely right. Adolescents don't either. It's one of the reasons why Sammy is one of the only really successful adolescent ongoing series of detective fiction, because the kids that just get, imagine Encyclopedia Brown as a 7th grader. He just figures everything out because he's smart, and it's like, no, we don't want to hang around that kid when we're in the 7th grade.
It's that whole idea that you can have a flawed character and people are going to identify with them, because none of us make correct decisions all the time. We all make mistakes. We all wish we could take something back. We all have things we should probably have detention for.
Right. A series comes to an end, but your career as a writer certainly hasn't. And I know you're capable of writing other things because you have. What's coming next?
I'm working on a top secret project.
I knew you were going to say that.
She won't tell me
She doesn't
either.
know about it.
And with that, please give a big round of applause to Nancy and Wendelin.